Hello everybody, I'm Eternal Flame here, and welcome to the updated version of everything we know about the Black Flash. Now you might be wondering, why am I creating an updated version of this video if we already have everything we already know about the Black Flash? A, that's an incredibly old video, but B, and this is the much more important one, a lot of the information about the Black Flash has become outdated, more so specifically about how the Black Flash actually functions. So I'm just basically creating this second video in order to basically be an updated version about everything we've recently found out about how the Black Flash works in Jujutsu Kaisen for everybody to know. Of course, there will be manga spoilers in this video, so if you still want to know only anime info on terms of what you would know about the Black Flash and not manga info, go check out the original video rather than this one. However, without further ado, before we get into this video, be sure to like and subscribe with anime content like this, and let's get into this. The Black Flash itself is a cursed energy application that is possible for any sorcerer to be able to pull it off so long as they're in the zone and they're able to fulfill the necessary conditions to even pull it off. There's even the possibility of some curses being able to pull off the Black Flash, albeit that's a bit weird, mainly because the only person we've ever seen that's a curse pull off the Black Flash is Mahito, the representation of humanity. However, it is still possible for curses to pull off Black Flashes as well, where when the Black Flash is landed on an opponent, it ends up multiplying the power landed on the opponent in that strike by an exponent of 2.5, or at least that's what the narrator says, and that's what it's quote-unquote supposed to be. However, I will say I don't actually think the narrator is made to be taken seriously at all, considering there's actually a volume extra where Gege is actually talking about this, and Gege compares it to things like the Kaioken and those types of techniques, and how he just wanted to give it a big number so it actually had big impact. I don't think it's actually made to be taken quite literally, and the reason why I don't think it's made to be taken literally at all is mainly because of the fact that there are characters who are able to get hurt by the Black Flash, but yet still end up surviving it, yet at the same time they're able to get hit by normal attacks from the same person who just landed the Black Flash and take damage from it. For example, Yuji, after landing one Black Flash, did quite a bit of damage to Hanami. However, Hanami is still able to get hurt by normal Yuji punches after he landed the Black Flash and get the buff to his potential from the Black Flash, which is another benefit of landing the Black Flash. The Black Flash brings out 120% of the user's potential, allowing for much better and much easier curse energy control once they're in the zone. Furthermore, the first time you land a Black Flash, it is a much more massive power-up on top of the 120% buff you do get from landing the Black Flash. To go back to Todo's comparison, the difference between someone who has landed a Black Flash and someone who hasn't landed the Black Flash is someone who is just throwing ingredients into a pot and hoping it would work, versus a chef who has actually tasted the ingredients and know how they work with each other. That is how massive of a buff the first Black Flash initially being landed actually offers to the user. However, there are smaller buffs that are offered after each time that someone actually does land a Black Flash that's not as potent as the big massive buff, but it is still pretty massive nonetheless. Furthermore, we also find out through Gojo and Sukuna that it is possible to recover lost curse energy output as well as reverse curse energy through landing Black Flashes. Now, it should be noted the exact amount of things like RCT or curse energy output does also vary on the user, depending on who is using it and how much is actually regained. For example, Gojo was able to regain his RCT output fully after landing a total of 2 Black Flashes, thanks to his 6 eyes and the control offered through 6 eyes. Meanwhile, Sukuna doesn't exactly get that after landing 2 Black Flashes himself. Furthermore, it is also potentially possible for the Black Flash to offer other types of benefits for the user too. For example, when Yuji Itadori used it, it was able to fully realize his potential. Now, at the current time of recording this, I have no idea what Yuji's fully realized potential actually does mean from landing a Black Flash. However, we do know the Black Flash was able to drag out that potential fully from Yuji Itadori. Oh, and the final and most important part of them all, once you land one Black Flash, it's extremely easy for you to start entering a consecutive type of Black Flash, where you will land one Black Flash after the other Black Flash, mainly because you're already so deep into the zone. So you might be thinking, the Black Flash is something that's incredibly potent and incredibly powerful, why can't every single sorcerer use it? That's mainly because the Black Flash has a couple of stipulations in order for a person to actually fully be able to use it. Now, for a long while, me and several other people were under the impression that the only necessary part of being able to land the Black Flash was being able to move your curse energy and apply it within a millionth of a second, but that's mainly because that's all that was really established by the narrator for a long while, ever since it was explained. So a lot of us actually just thought that it could be possible in order for someone to match the Black Flash, they just had to have good enough curse energy control. However, in chapter 256, Gojo confirms to us that it's not just a simple matter of curse energy control and applying your curse energy really fast. After all, if that was the only case, then Gojo would be able to use the Black Flash at will, but there are other things that get in the way of landing the Black Flash at will. As Gojo himself says, that the conditions for landing a Black Flash constantly changes, depending on things like your physical conditions, your opponent's curse energy, the environment, and he even believes that it could be possible that things like temperature and humidity could affect the Black Flash, mainly because of the Black Flash being a spatial phenomena. Now I am going to go a little bit theory crafting for a little bit about how each of these things can actually affect someone landing the Black Flash, and what each of these terms mean, mainly because it's not actually fully explained in this chapter itself. It's just that the terms are just thrown out. However, if you do want to skip past this, the time frame is going to be on screen now, and if you don't want to skip past this, then let's get into the theorizing for each of these. Up first is physical condition. I think this is actually the easiest one because we've actually seen it, physical condition affecting someone's ability to land the Black Flash in the past. At least in my opinion, I believe we have seen it in the past before. And that was when Yuji had fought against Choso. When Yuji had fought against Choso at the end section, it looked like he was about to land a Black Flash. The anime really goes out of its way to show that it looked like he was about to land a Black Flash. However, Yuji stopped his way mid-punch, losing his focus mid-punch mainly because of the fact that he felt like there was something that broke inside of him, something that was much more damaged than he initially thought, which ended up breaking his focus, at least in my opinion. And I think this was JJK's way of actually showing how physical condition can actually affect someone's ability to land a Black Flash and focus properly. Up next is environment, and I think there's actually a pretty easy way to explain how environment can affect someone's ability to land the Black Flash, which is mainly because of the fact that the Black Flash, in order for it to function properly, needs to have curse energy applied within a very, very specific time frame. However, while normally you'd think that things like the wind wouldn't get in the way, or even just a small little rock in your step, or slight little hindrances in the environment, all of these can end up just removing a little bit of the curse energy focus that is absolutely necessary in order to land the Black Flash. The precise curse energy that is needed, then it could cause a slight bit of a delay, interrupting it and not allowing the Black Flash to be properly used. Furthermore, these minor changes that would affect things like the Black Flash is constantly changing, which is why the answer of how to master Black Flash is constantly changing, and there is no correct answer to how to master the Black Flash, because nothing is going to work 100% of the time. Your opponent's curse energy also kind of works in a similar way, at least in my opinion, mainly because if you remember to how we see curse energy in terms of protecting people back to when Yuta battled against Yuji, and how it's normally just circling around someone's body, if you are smart enough, you would likely be able to make that curse energy constantly fluctuate in order to make it that much more difficult to actually time out the curse energy properly. This could probably even happen accidentally, especially considering how precise of a time frame you need to be in order to properly land the Black Flash. There can even be circumstances where the world itself just won't allow for a Black Flash to happen, no matter how much you account for those possibilities, because they will just keep getting in the way of the possibility of landing the Black Flash. That's why things like temperature and humidity can even matter. Every little thing matters about landing the Black Flash, and because of that, it is near impossible to predict and make the perfect situation for you to land the Black Flash, making it impossible for anyone to truly land a Black Flash at will. Or at least impossible for any sorcerer to land a Black Flash at will, because the world itself will always have conditions that will make it more and more difficult, if not impossible sometimes, for someone to land a Black Flash. Which is why no matter how much you master these conditions, there will always be some type of luck factored into it that no one is able to get over. There's even the possibility there's other ways that these things can actually end up getting in the way of someone landing the Black Flash, and I'm just not actually thinking about them right now as well. As Gojo himself says, there is no right answer on how to land a Black Flash. But now with my speculation out of the way, now we're going to get into other things that we do know about the Black Flash. For example, one of the more interesting things that we have recently found out is that Gojo has landed more Black Flashes than Nanami. However, Nanami has the consecutive Black Flash record. This is mainly because of the fact that most things that Gojo hits with his blue enhanced punches are not going to live that plus a Black Flash, considering a normal blue enhanced punch is enough to do massive damage to Hikari and Yuta and make them forcefully give up their lunches. So yeah. Speaking of numbers of Black Flashes, now we're going to go over every single character we know have landed a Black Flash, and how they landed a Black Flash, and more importantly, the amount of times they've landed a Black Flash, and their consecutive number of Black Flashes. So the first character we're going to go over is maybe he landed a Black Flash. It's kind of really weird. It depends on if you take the JJK Zero movie as canon, and that character is Yuta Ikotsu, because in the JJK Zero movie, he does land a Black Flash on Geto. However, that's not exactly the case in the manga, so that's not 100% known, but I do feel it's nice to mention him nonetheless. We don't know the benefits that Yuta got from landing the Black Flash. Well, of course, other than the normal benefits you get from landing the Black Flash. Up next, the next person who landed a Black Flash is Nobara Kugisaki, and Nobara has one of the most interesting usages of the Black Flash in my opinion, mainly because of something that Nobara displays as possible for the Black Flash that a lot of people don't actually know is possible, which is the possibility of turning your Black Flash into a ranged weapon. Because remember, Nobara used the Black Flash through her nails. It was the nails that caused the Black Flash, which means it is possible for Black Flashes to be ranged. However, Nobara has only landed one Black Flash. Up next is Aoi Todo, who Aoi Todo managed to land a Black Flash in his battle against Mahito. Now, in my opinion, I do actually think Todo had landed at least one Black Flash in the past beforehand, and that's why he was able to describe the experience of landing a Black Flash to Yuji back in the Hanami battle. However, we don't actually know the amount of Black Flashes that Todo has landed in total. We just know he has landed at least a bare minimum one Black Flash. Now, we did get the normal standard buffs of a Black Flash user, however, he didn't get anything more than that. However, he was the only person who was actually able to get into the zone to land a Black Flash purely because he didn't want to be left behind by his brother. So I find that kind of funny. Now up next is Nanami Kento, the man who held the record for having the most amount of consecutive Black Flashes in Jujutsu Kaisen. However, Nanami in total has landed a bare minimum of 4 Black Flashes, however he has at most landed 7. Now how I got that number I'm going to talk about when I talk about Gojo, however back to Nanami, and this is where we're going to talk about consecutive Black Flashes because this is also going to be important for Gojo. A consecutive Black Flash is when you land a Black Flash immediately after landing another Black Flash in the hit. There is no interval in between the hits and just the next hit you land is a Black Flash. So for a long while, Nanami was the one who held the record for having the most amount of consecutive Black Flashes, holding the record of a total of 4, and even now he still holds the record. The record has only been tied. However, while Nanami has the record for the most consecutive Black Flashes, he doesn't have the record for the most amount of Black Flashes. That for a long while would have went to Gojo Satoru himself, where Gojo does not beat Nanami in terms of consecutive amount of Black Flashes, even though he did land a total of 4 in the battle against Sukuna. Only a total of 2 of them were actually consecutive, which were the 2 that he had landed on Mahoraga. The other he landed on Agito, he did several moves in between, and the other one he landed on Sukuna, but that was before Sukuna even began to start jumping Gojo. Now the main reason I am taking my time to actually say this is because there are a lot of people that do genuinely believe Gojo tied the record for the most amount of consecutive Black Flashes in his fight against Sukuna, when no, he did not. However, he at most landed a total of 8 in his lifetime. Man, this is going to be so awkward. I've been meaning to say 9 because Gojo has landed 9 Black Flashes in his lifetime and not 8. And that is the most he could have possibly landed, and it's Nanami who has at most landed 8. Anyways, back to the actual reason of why, and that is the next character we're going to move on to, Yuji Itadori, who has in total landed 10 Black Flashes all across Jujutsu Kaisen, where he landed 5 against Hanami, 3 against Mahito, and finally 1 against Eso. And then he has landed 1 more in his most recent battle, which this is by far and away the biggest Black Flash we have ever seen in the series of JJK, where the sparks from the Black Flash are so massive, it makes Sukuna look tiny in comparison, who Sukuna was the person that was hit by this massive gargantuan Black Flash. Now the reason why I said beforehand that Gojo has landed at most 9 Black Flashes is because in chapter 256, it is stated by the narrator that Yuji Itadori soon surpassed Gojo in this aspect as well, talking about the total amount of Black Flashes that was landed. Now, I have seen some people trying to say the narrator was actually talking about when Yuji landed a total of 5 against Hanami. That was when he surpassed him in terms of total Black Flash number. However, that would have only made Yuji tie Gojo and not actually surpass him, purely because of the fact that we know Gojo has landed more Black Flashes than Nanami, and Nanami has landed a total of 4. So if Yuji had landed 5, that means he would have just tied Gojo out with his 5. Which is why I believe that narration text was actually talking about modern day, and it was just basically telling us that Gojo has landed a total of 9 Black Flashes. Either that, or it's about to show us in the next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 257, that Yuji's about to go ham with Black Flashes, and at the end of that chapter, they're going to say in the narration text that Yuji has now surpassed Gojo in terms of Black Flash amounts. But I don't really know. I'm currently recording this at the time of chapter 256. And now we're going to move on to the final character that we know has landed a Black Flash, and that character is Ryomen Sukuna himself, who Sukuna has landed a total of 4 Black Flashes in his battle. However, only 2 of them were consecutive, just like against Gojo, where he landed 1 against Laru, 2 against Maki, and then finally 1 against Choso, where the 1 against Maki and then the 1 against Choso was actually the consecutive Black Flashes. Unless you think that the cleaves being launched out makes it no longer consecutive, but that I'm going to leave up to you. Now, the Black Flashes were successfully helping in Sukuna regain his output, however, Yuji's Soul Punches are able to reduce it back down, basically with Choso implying that Yuji's Soul Punches nerf Sukuna back down to a point where Sukuna's Black Flashes and the buffs he gets from the Black Flash is effectively nullified. Now in this final section, I'm going to go over some users of it that I think have actually used it, but we just have never actually seen them use it in the past, but it makes way too much sense for them not to have used it in the past, which the main person I have in mind is Yuki Tsukumo herself, mainly because of the fact that Yuki is the one who taught Todo and has probably one of the best understandings of the world, so if Yuki didn't know how to use a Black Flash yet still somehow managed to teach Todo how to use it, I would be absolutely surprised. That and Yuki's literal entire combat style is punch kick really hard because of Bombaye. And the other person that I have in mind that I think has actually used a Black Flash in the past is Kenjaku, and that is mainly because of the fact that Kenjaku was the oldest sorcerer that we know and has by far and away the greatest experience when it comes to curse energy manipulation. Those are my 2 main people who I think have used the Black Flash that we haven't actually seen use the Black Flash, and I would be okay with giving the Black Flash to them even though we've never actually seen them use the Black Flash. However, that's about everything that I think we have learned about the Black Flash so far. Of course, if you do have information to add to the comment section down below, then please comment it because I'm really curious. And without further ado, hope you all have a good day, and we'll see you all later. Peace out. Bye.